ladies, welcome to Gracefulwld Channel. Today we are going to use this fabric to sew a maxi dress with the slit on the side. This dress contains of the upper part and the lower part. The upper part we are actually going to cut and use an angel cut, while the lower part will be a gathers. So let's see how this dress will come out and what will be the end of it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please kindly do so, and if you've done that, thank you very much and welcome once again. This is the measurements that we are going to use for this dress. This is the measurement for the dress. In this dress, the bust is 31, then I'm going to add allowance of 9. I'll explain how we got about the 9. The 9 we'll use some in the dart, we'll use some in the side, and we'll use some for the joining. So it makes it the total allowance of 9. 9 plus our 31, that will give us 40. So 40 divided by 4, it gives us 10. So that is how we have the 10. I've cut the front piece and the back piece and I folded into 2. This is how it is, the front piece and the back piece being folded into 2. And our neck to waist is actually 17. So I took 19. The 19 plus our allowance, that is how we got about the 19. So now let's begin. Our neck is actually 3. I like using 3 for the neck. You just need to position your fabric very well so that you won't get it mixed up. Our neck is 3. These 3 here. 3 plus 4. That's what gives us 7. So we cut 7. The reason I'm taking 7 is because the person's shoulder is 14. So I get it here 7. 7 plus the allowance for the shoulder, that's 7.5. So from the neck, you're going to have our shoulder arm, our armhole. In order to cut our armhole, the person's armhole is actually 7.5. So we have our 7.5 here. And the neck we are going to take 3 because of the allowance. We are going to take 3 because of the allowance. Then 7.5. This is where our 7.5 is. So you cut the armhole. Now our armhole is set. We are going to move over to other thing, which is from the neck to the bust line. From our neck to bust line, we have 11. Neck to nip, we have 11. For us to get the princess that we are looking for, we have to fold the front fabric, not the back fabric or the front fabric. We have to fold the front fabric into 4. The reason we are folding the front fabric into 4 is because the person's waist is 28. I'm sorry, I didn't actually explain this. The person's waist, this is actually the waist, because this measurement is from the neck to the waist. So this is actually the waist. The waist is 24. 24 plus, sorry, the waist is 28. 28 plus 10 That's our allowance that we are going to use, which give us 40. So we have 10 here. Now to get our princess cut, since the waist is 28 divided by 4, 28 divided by 4 will actually give you 7 at the dot. So now our princess that we are taking from the nip to nip, the nip to nip now is 8. So 8 divided by 2, our nip to nip is 8. 8 divided by 2, we have 4. So we add allowance of 1. Allowance of 1 give us, sorry, our nip to nip, we have 3 because it's 7. We have 3.5, sorry, because it's actually 7, so we have 3.5. Our nip to nip is 3.5 because the nip to nip is 7, so we have 3.5. The 3.5, we add 1 inch allowance, we have 4.5. Then we are going to cut, because we've already added the allowance here, so we are going to cut the half out. Then you measure from the neck to the waist, which is 13. You put your dot there, that is your 13. Then your waist to nape, the person's waist to nape is actually 11, so we put our 11 here. So this dot, we are actually going to transfer this dot down here, but before we do that, we are going to cut. We are actually cutting the front piece, not with the back piece. We are actually cutting the front piece. So to be on the safer side, you can actually select your piece, but if you can cut it the way I'm cutting, there is no problem about it. But if you know you can't cut it the way I'm cutting, to avoid you making a mistake, you just select the front piece from the back piece. So now the dot here, we are going to transfer it down here. Remember, the ½ inch that we've cut out of here, we are actually going to replace it. So before we actually do anything, before we go ahead, we have to shape our armhole. We have to shape our armhole. So make sure that the fabric are equal. We are going to shape our armhole. Make sure that the fabric are equal. We've already measured our armhole, and we are going to shape it. Our armhole was 7.5. So we've actually shaped our armhole. Okay, that is it for that. And now for us to get the princess dart, we have to measure our armhole. Our armhole here is actually 10. Half of 10 is 5. You add 1, you bring 1 inch down, and you slide it to where you have the dot, the nip to nip. which is 11, the neck to nape, which is 11, and you join it down to the cut, to the princess cut that you have. Now for us to cut that out, if you just cut it like that, there will be allowance here. So for us not to have this allowance, you take half inch from here and also half inch from here and connect it to 2 inside, to 2.5 to the princess dart. So the half we have here, you can actually use ruler. If you know it's going to give you any issue, you can actually use ruler and connect it. So we got here, that's from, also that's 2.5 in. You can actually use ruler so that you won't make any mistake. So we are going to cut. I'm not actually separating my front from the back piece, but while I'm cutting it, I'm not cutting the back piece also. So if you know you won't be that careful, there will be a mistake. So it's advisable you select your front piece from the back piece. So you're going to cut it exactly how the line is. Another important thing is the neck. You slant the neck by half. So I could have actually shown you that 1.5 before cutting it off. Make sure you slant your neck by 1.5 before cutting it, because the neck is not always equal, so you have to slant it. Now I'm just going to notch the back dart so that I will know where my dart will start from at the back. Just need to notch it. Then this neck, yeah, back to the neck, which is actually the reason I didn't separate my piece. The neck, we're actually using 4x4. It depends on how you want your neck to be, whether you want it to be wide or you actually want it down. You want the down to drop. Normally I'm taking my neck 4x4. You can actually drop the down instead of 4x4. You can take 4x5. Depends on how you want the down to drop, but to me, I don't actually want the down neck to drop. I want it to be the same, so I'll still stick to 4x4. Then I'm going to cut the back piece and the front piece. I'm going to cut it together. So that is that. This is the front piece. Now is to join it. Yeah, try through with our princess cuff. This is it. Don't forget we've put allowance that we'll use and join it together. And after joining it, we are going to see the outcome of it, how it will be and what it will look like. Then this is the back piece. This is where our dart will be. You can decide to cut it to here and join it again, because we've already put the allowance that we are going to use and join it. And because of the zip, we are actually going to cut this off. But if we are not putting zip, if we are using zip at the side, there is no need of cutting it off because you're going to put the zip at the side. So that is all for the dress. Any method you are going to apply in sewing it, we are going to sew our dress, and at the end of the video we'll show you what the dress looks like. We are through with the upper part. The down part is just for you to divide the fabric into two. Run 2 lines for the darts, run 2 lines for the gathers.